Hello and welcome to this little homemade demonstration video. So we're talking about car batteries, and the other day somebody was asking me how a battery wears down, and they were confused about state of health and state of charge, and they were just asking a lot of questions. So they didn't really understand the techno babble. So we had to dumb it down quite a bit, and they seemed to get the idea of it. So I thought I'll do a little video today, try to dumb down a battery as much as possible to, help those who don't understand the techno babble of battery health and charge and stuff. And I thought we'll do a little tiny demonstration. So this glass here is our battery. And at the top it's full of water, as you can see. The water represents how much power we have in that battery. So brand spanking new battery is going to be full of power. The top of the glass, where the top of the water is, that represents our charge, that's our voltage. And the depth of the glass is how much power that battery has got inside it. So as you can see, we've got a brand new battery. It's fully charged and it's full of power, electricity. So this little ruler here that I've stuck a bit of tape on, this is, just say hypothetically, what the car needs to start minimally. So this is about 25% of this battery, should we say. And as you can see, if we pop it in, this is a fully charged battery, we have got all of this power available to us before we hit the minimum amount needed to start the car. So this can be left while you've been on holiday, so full healthy battery. Over time, the charge and the health are going to steadily drop. Now if you get back from your holiday and it's at 50%, then your car's going to start up perfectly normal, happy. You're going to drive it, and hopefully you'll drive it long enough to charge it all the way back up to full. Now if you come back from holiday and it's all the way down here and it just drops below the minimum, your car's either going to go click 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 or a few other things, and then you're going to be needing to get a boost start basically. So this is how much power we need to start the car. So we've got lots of voltage to play with and lots of power. However, over time, the battery will slowly start to drop down. We're going to have to wait for the sand to clear the water. So over time, you are going to be losing your power. So this could be any number of ways. Either cars being stood for months on end, or it's just old. You've done lots of very short journeys. So we're going to add quite a bit of sand. This is going to represent the sulfation in the battery and the battery effectively wearing down. So I've stuck a bit of sand in there now, and I'm just going to pause the video, let that settle. I've let it settle for a little bit, but I'm probably here all day waiting for it to try and go clear. So after, say, a couple of years, all the sand in there represents the dead part of the battery now. So we still have full charge, as you can see by the water line. So we still have full charge, but our state of health has dropped considerably. Now, if we add our little minimum starting capacity there, you can see we now have a lot less charge, power basically, left in the battery. So whereas a few years ago you went on holiday, you came back off holiday, your car started, you charged your battery back up. This time round you went away for the same amount of time, you came back, your car didn't start. That is because the battery can no longer produce the full amount of power that it once did. So we are now about, say, 50%, give or take. Yeah, so above the little tape marker is the amount of power we have left to play with. Okay, so the car will still start if you're still running the car on a daily basis, and you'll be none the wiser. You may find that if you sit and listen to the radio for a couple of minutes, you may find that your battery voltage will drop down and your power will drop quite considerably compared to, say, a couple of years ago. Okay, so we're going to speed time along because we're waffling on now. And we're going to keep adding sand. This is aging our battery. So now the battery is well past its best. As you can see, we just have enough power left in the battery to start the car. Okay, now most times you won't notice any difference in starting. The car will just start up. Some cars will give you a slower crank, some cars will give you a warning on the dashboard. So as you can see now, we have far less available battery health compared to when the battery was new. So all this sand is now just basically dead battery. All we've got left is this little tiny bit. Now if we keep adding a bit of sand, battery keeps aging like so. We are only just got enough power at the best possible case scenario. Okay, now what will happen is very quickly your battery will start to deteriorate at a much faster rate. Now your battery is still fully charged because the water line, this is how much power, how much voltage is in the battery. It can still show 12.6 volts. However, the state of health is now far below what is needed to even start the vehicle. Now a battery needs to be bigger than what is needed to start the car for a couple of reasons. One, it gives you leeway. So when you go on holiday or you accidentally leave your lights on or you listen to the radio, you need that extra power to be able to get used up by the car and still allow you to start the car up. Now, as the battery gets older, obviously you start to lose all of your battery health. And when it comes to winter, most cars will lose at 0 degrees, just 0 degrees, will lose around 30% of their power. So if you've got a battery that is floating at 30% in the summer and it's starting the car up without any issues, but it's just starting the car up, when it comes to 0 degrees, it'll lose 30% of that 30%. So you will then not have enough power to start the car in the winter. So, which is why batteries tend to fail a lot more during the winter, because most people are running a battery which is in poor condition. The car will then not start and you end up having to pay for a battery without planning for it, basically. So the importance of a good healthy battery is to give you leeway, and when you get cold weather, it'll allow the car to start up. So hopefully this just explains a little bit on the difference in health for your battery. So we now only have around 10% health left in this battery, which is not enough to even start the car. Still got good voltage, but we don't have good health. Now ideally you want to be changing your battery probably around minimum 60 to 70%, so that you've still got a good, healthy, reliable battery. So when people say your battery's faulty and needs replacing, but it's still starting the car, a lot of people will go, but it's working, I don't have any problems, you're trying to rip me off. Now I'm not saying that people are not trying to get ripped off, but if somebody's being honest and your battery is, say, 60%, the car will still work perfectly fine but you've lost 40% worth of your battery. So when you come to sit in the car with the radio on, or you get winter time, you go on holiday, you're going to get flat batteries a lot quicker. So this is why it's important to change your battery when it's still got a good amount of power left in the battery. So if you change your battery up here, you know, if you've not had a problem, then you're gonna, you know, get away with it, or you've changed it because you've had a problem and you're now having to fork out upwards of £300. Some dealers have heard charging £1,000 for a 12-volt battery, BMWs and Mercedes, etc. Even your normal main dealers, like Ford, Vauxhall, stuff like that, they can be charging £300 plus for a battery, which is very expensive these days. So if somebody gives you a warning that your battery is getting towards the end of its life, then you need to start planning for a new battery. So hopefully this little tiny demonstration will give you an understanding of the difference between, you know, your state of health and your state of charge. So we've still got good state of charge, but we've got not a lot of power left in that battery at all. The rest of it is now completely dead. So hopefully this is giving you a little bit of an understanding. Well, thank you very much.